Yes. Welcome, everyone. This is once again your host, Shailesh, bringing you live a topic which we started a couple of days ago. And we have this speaker, amazing speakers with us as a panel discussion today. We are going to take it further. A topic which is a taboo in the current scheme of world where we live in a modern day society. But this topic relates to all humans and particularly women, to all the listeners who are listening. This is a topic where we need to escalate, we need to bring up to the surface. And menopause, a taboo. So, is it a taboo, or is some people saying it is a taboo? But whatever it is, we have some amazing speakers to discuss on this topic, a panel discussion, and we invite from Melita Spencer. She is also a coach and also learning about this menopause coach, certified practitioner as well. So interesting. We started this topic with her, and I couldn't stop to take it further. So that's another amazing speaker we have all the way from India. Now, why India? Why Australia? Why different countries? Is we all countries have got different belief system. And I think when it comes to menopause and when it comes to the word taboo, every country has got a different kind of reservations and restrictions when it comes to taboo. So we're going to discover and uncover a little bit about that from a journey that what we understand is women living in different countries, different cultures, different background. So it's going to be interesting to talk more about with Rashmee as well, who is here to discover that. And then we have got Adriana all the way from British Columbia, Canada. She's a spiritual kind of being where, again, we all beautiful souls are here to talk about this beautiful topic. And why I say beautiful, because when there is a word called taboo, and then people say taboo is not beautiful. So I want to say this topic is beautiful, and this topic resonates with us as a human being. And why only women talking about it? Not necessarily. It's women's perspective because it affects the first and foremost to women. So then we need to get support from all the beings, human beings, if we call. So that's why this topic is very important and prime importance to this topic that I'm going to dwell into it. So welcome everyone, Melita, Rashmi, Adriana, taking your beautiful time, amazing contribution to this topic, because we always talk about suicide awareness, domestic violence awareness, you name it, cancer awareness, breast cancer awareness, all relates to women on different levels and different things. And we want to be made aware. Why? Because woman is the source of all humans. That's what I always say. So if anything affects woman, needs to be brought up, needs to be addressed, needs to be talked about, all purely from a solution-based point of view. So we are going to talk about a lot of things today in this context. So not necessarily the solutions that we have, but definitely an awareness that we could bring to the surface with this topic. So without further delaying now, I'm going to get straight into it. So I wanted to address this. Melita, please tell us something about what you know about this. Then we'll go with everyone and that their understanding about why it is so important to talk about this. Let's give one sentence or two sentences that you think should be talked about this topic.
Well,
Over to
it's a
you.
very, sorry, it's a very natural part of life, isn't it? And a lot of
Yes.
people just see it as a transition in life or something that they can physically see happening to a woman,
Mm,
but they don't see holistically
mm,
the how it affects women on so many different levels, because it
mm.
affects women emotionally, physiologically, physically as well, and also with her mental health. So it's very important to be able to bring an awareness to this, open communication, build those connections, because it's very intimate. And it can be seen as a way to really pull people together as well and get to know each other and connect tighter within family units, within networking and friendship circles as well.
Mm. Absolutely. What do you think, Rashmi?
So, as per my perspective, this I'm in a pre-menopause phase personally, and last year I went through. I'm still not in the menopause, but this pre-menopause is also causing a lot of emotional turbulence within.
Mm,
And how I solved my problem, I'm going to tell you, and why support system
mm,
is very important and plays a crucial role. So last year when I went through something,
mm,
I had first of all my mom,
mm.
and in India there is a lot of support. I cannot say in terms of emotional support, but they know from generation to generation what to give in this situation in terms of medicines.
Yeah.
So natural medicines like we have some powders, we have some seeds, and how can you recover your whole womb and all that part. So we have this is passed from one generation to another generation. So my mom knows many things. Naturally she was there. Apart from that, my whole family was there. And that moment what happened, I got really scared. So what happens in that phase is you get really scared. So the very important part here is you really, really need a support from everyone
So
in
support is
that.
one of the key things that you want to highlight, which we will dwell into it. So that's
Yes.
good. We now go back to Adriana. What do you think in a couple of lines this why this topic is so important and what is the crucial thing that you think that can come out of this discussion?
Because of one magic number.
Mm,
It's a fact that 1.2 billion, not
mhm,
million, billion women are affected at this point with this topic, and people don't speak about it. So I
sure.
think it's important for us to come here and speak
Mm,
about it, because think about it.
mm,
1.2 billion women are
sure.
affected every single day by this. So if that many women are affected, that
Mm,
means there's a lot of people are going through. So, and not just women, we know we talk about women are the one that the principal, but
mm.
we have this affects children, it affects relationships, it affects the relationship with your men, it affects men because they cannot understand the woman. So I'm so excited and honored to be able to be here to speak with this
Yeah.
beautiful this
Also,
topic.
what you said correct, because what Rashmi was saying that, it affects the family and which she was talking about the family. So it does affect a lot of people in the process. So I really agree with your concept. So now let's get into the few things that I wanted to get straight. Because we are talking this topic, again, there are different views and different, but it comes with cultural background as well for this topic. And I think I want to touch with the belief system and the science that whether irrespective of our religious beliefs, we still rely on science. We still rely on things that we need support from. And I think when it comes to that, first let's touch base on the belief system about this menopause taboo as a topic and why it is a taboo in the religious sense or cultural sense and what are the beliefs that we have. I want to start this with Rashmi because I think Indian culture has got some of the things that are preempted with certain restrictions that we can't do this, we can't do that, and all that stuff. Let's touch on that a little bit, Rashmi, and then we'll go to Melita being the experts as well and coach as well for that. So we'll see how does it play an important role when it comes to cultural belief.
So as per Indian culture, it has one is which is not, I just don't like. It's we can't speak.
That's right.
It's very difficult for women to speak up
Mm,
about these topics in the home also.
mm,
So in
right.
the public, it's a different part altogether. Nowadays, women started to speak about these things
Mm,
because the emotional separation is so much and it's bubbling up a lot.
mm,
And in terms of spiritual awakening, this is now coming a lot. Every woman is feeling this, and the lifestyle has shifted.
mm,
So previously, women were at home, especially in India. So it was so much comfort, safety was there. Now, when you're going in a different environment, every day you have a challenge, and your body is unconsciously taking all that energy within you. So first of all, women needs to speak up about this topic, not to hide with everyone. But other part I love about Indian culture is we have a solutions already there. So from childhood, I remember me and my all sisters have trained that not to pop a pill for everything. So because what I'm seeing personally is that it's causing really a big impact on our bodies unconsciously. When you're taking a pill, you don't know the reason. I understand when there is a emergency, you can take the pill. But every now and then these things are done during the periods also. That comes into this phase. Everything comes into, I feel, in this phase, because the suppression from that to till this end is coming up. So we all are trained that not to pop a pill, find or either go into the Ayurveda and check what is the solution, or check in your body what is happening. But this needs, this hasn't done from the place of awareness. It just came from one woman to another woman. But I was, as a I personally, I'm a computer engineer and coming from technology background. I was always asking opposite question, but why should I believe in these things randomly? Then I started finding why these women are asking me to do certain things scientifically. And then I started exploring the science and the beliefs about this. What are the beliefs which are really serving me in this phase of my life? And how I can, or all my clients also can emotionally empower them and stay in the alignment. So we have a lot of understanding about the moon cycles, and this come from our moms or from our grandmoms. They have this deep understanding, but they don't know why they are doing it. So the why is missing, and new generation is not feeling confident on believing on them because they cannot tell us the reasons. And then the science comes. Why scientifically, how woman is impact, her whole body is cycle is linked to the moon, and how it is impacting her every day. When I understand that, scientifically, I really easily started shifting my whole energy. And that also, got me many clients, and they started shifting their energy. So this is again a lot of energy work, belief work. And this you can heal your body. That is a message. And I guess Indians have this within them, but we are also losing connection somewhere. So I don't want that to happen. Let's bring everything together, the whole world's perspective together on this topic. That is what is going to serve in the new world.
Correct. And that's exactly what we are trying to do here, Rashmi, is like India or any person has got a culture, beliefs, and traditional passed on from one generation to another generation. However, the important aspect of it is how we can make it more cohesive and like communicate together, engaging everyone as a serving the human purpose rather than the topic as a menopause, a taboo, which has become a taboo. Right. So I want to pick on this now with Melita because she's done both, and then reflect on what you said when it comes to cultural beliefs and when it comes to, following the traditions or the status quo that we are all into. Let's come to you, Melita.
Look, Australia is a very multicultural society, which means that the beliefs are going to vary widely and experiences will be very different from family to family, person to person, community to community.
Yes.
There are some communities in Australia where aging is a celebrated thing, and women experience this in a very positive way. And then there are also cultures in Australia where it's not celebrated in such a way that it's a lot more taboo. And that's passed on from generation to generation as well. And these people do find cultural pressures and expectations quite challenging. which can also make it quite tricky to talk from network to network, knowing where how other people perceive menopause and how willing they are to open up a discussion around this. And to be a little bit lighthearted about it as well, because life's not all meant to be doom and gloom. We're meant to live this life together and support each other through it. However, sometimes cultures have put those pressures on people where they don't feel that they can speak up in such a way. But having said that, generally the consensus in Australia is that there are advocacy and education organisations out there that are probably not so well known, but we're getting there. Baby steps. We have a Menopause Foundation Australia, which is a really trusted source of information, and I highly recommend that people do go to a trusted source. Groups and networking is fantastic, but I think if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty, make sure you are tapped in or connected to a trusted source here. There's also Australian Menopause Society, which has some great study information on there. A lot of peer-reviewed articles around menopause, and can give you that really good solid foundation of information to work from.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's take on Adriana from all aspects of spirituality and a coach that she's interacting. And obviously, we will come to that beliefs and science, but also how we have evolved. Because this is good resonating that you guys have said to me at this point that people are listening. Then we will come to the whole evolvement structure from the Stone Age till now. So what do you think, Adriana?
Yes, I relate a lot. I relate a lot with Melita because in Canada, we have very similar system and very similar like Australia. Canada is a country of immigrants. We have people all over the world coming together, everybody with their own culture, their own tradition, their own system of beliefs are coming together. And it depends like from household to household. Some people are more open as they come to Canada, they adopt the Canadian mindset and style, and they're more open, and some of them are more restrict and they want to stay into their own way of thinking and being and acting. Depends of each person. I represent Europe. I come from Romania. I come from Europe. So I come very indoctrinated. In Romanian culture, it was the patriarchal culture where, certain types, man is doing this and woman is doing this and everybody's in a box. And if you get out of the box, then guess what? The system, the environment will put you back into your box. And for me, living in Canada and I lived in States, it opened up my mind and my heart to understand and ask myself, like Rashmee, you said, how about if I ask myself, do I want to believe those things that people put into me, parents, society, culture, all those things that was indoctrinated in me, or actually maybe I want to choose a different belief. Maybe I want to create my own beliefs. And when it comes to menopause, for me in my culture, I grow up very similar. Like in India, you have a certain way of doing or being. Your mom was the way she was. Your grandma was the way she was. They were not speaking too much about it because it was a bit of taboo, of a shameful thing to talk as a woman. You talk about it, but behind doors closed with maybe your mother or an older lady, and that's about it. But you don't speak out at the table with the family. That's not happening. But I truly believe this. Beliefs are, even the word, I'm a communication expert and I love language. Even the word belief is a lie, the word lie in the belief word. So it's your choice what lie you believe in. It's your choice what lie you're gonna play in this life. And we have a free choice to always change our beliefs. And if your beliefs are not going accordingly with who you are, your identity, your blueprint in this particular moment, then you have the freedom to change them. And for me, that was a game changer, even when it comes to menopause and premenopause. Like I'm there too. I'm 40, so I seen the changes in my body, and instead of staying with what my mom, my grandma, what I see in my culture, and just stay with that information, how about I can pick and choose what I want to believe, what I want to create in my life, and recreate my beliefs towards menopause and how I see it. So
Right.
then it helps me, but also to the people I'm speaking, and friends and family and children and so on.
That's very well. So I wanted to jump in here and ask you, is hiding information or hiding the belief system is gonna help in the present day moment that we are talking about this, that we are not hiding this, we are bringing to the surface, we are bringing to the surface to talk about it. So, but when it comes to traditions and cultures and belief system and everything, we have been hiding from the general public. And as you said, we are lying to ourselves that we don't have any problem and we don't have any concern. In that context, how do you see the evolvement that has happened since we are conscious about, we are talking in this generation, and you are all from this generation, but you all came with the background of the generations, and you wanted to see the change, or do you think there is a lot of work to be done to change? How do you see this as changing the environment from the Stone Age till now? What is the transition that you have, the evolvement point of view? Have we evolved enough to make sure that we help each other, support each other? Have we evolved enough as a woman? You know, I want to ask this. Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Yeah.
So I feel it's a choice everyone has to make, every woman has to make, that in this moment, what I'm going to choose,
Hmm.
which belief I'm going to choose, because it's my body.
Hmm.
If it's my body, it is impacting my body. Am I going to suppress my emotions, or I'm going to speak about that, or I'm going to learn how to process those from someone?
Hmm.
So here is the thing, we constantly, when you go into the complain and the blame, that mode, there is no solution there. It's all about taking 100% responsibility of your well-being,
Right.
emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. Your spirit has all the answers, soul has all the answers.
Sure.
When you connect with it,
Hmm.
you are going to start processing everything, and you will speak up in the home, because it starts with your house.
Hmm.
And then you can go and publicly do the work which you are here to do.
Hmm.
But it starts with you. You need to make the conscious decision in this moment, and forget about everything what happened back. Just take which is you feel serving for you.
But sorry to interrupt here, but don't you think that when you want to take choices, that's where then the society comes, that's where then the community comes, and that's where then your restriction comes. And those taking that bold decision to communicate, as Adriana was mentioning, that she wants to communicate, and the communication is the key for
Mm.
anything and everything to solve. How do you see the change in the community and the society that you, as a person, if you had to do, to bring to the surface so that everybody is aware of it, that it's nothing wrong. I am breaking the barriers. I am breaking the beliefs. I am breaking the consciousness that I have evolved. How do you see breaking those barriers?
It needs first of all attention within, because what
Yeah.
happens, you cannot remove everything which
No, of
society
course.
and
No.
community had given to you. They really have some answers, deep answers. Okay, just take those are going to serve you. And as a community, we need to create a safe space for women to speak up. First of all, allow her to express her emotions, because a lot of emotional trauma
True.
is still suppressed when it comes to women. And
Absolutely.
in India, especially, we have a family structure, strong family structure yet. So if you have a strong family and you trust, first of all,
Mm.
There you need a safe space.
Mm.
If you trust your sisters, so we have this, I have a big family, I come from joint family.
Mm.
And as you said, we just discuss within sisters and
Yeah. Mm.
woman. So
Mm.
this needs to come to main too. And I definitely speak with my brothers about this topic. I'm not, ashamed of that. I speak with my husband. So when you start with your family, it is
True.
going to create a ripple effect.
Mm.
Because if you're hiding in your own space, you're feeling suppressed there, how
Correct.
you're going to create an impact. So this is how we are going to grow with the communities.
Yeah.
In a community, we can, literally create as, in India, I'm still not seeing this change at a community level.
Exactly. And this is where I
This
want.
topic, especially the whole woman's menstrual cycle, the menopause or pre-menopause,
Mm.
these topics are not discussed at a community level. We are still hiding from it. In the schools, we have little bit, they
Yeah.
taught little bit about it, but still woman is first of all needs to, she's ashamed of her body. That needs to go away.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to ask this question to Melita because she is from the medical health side as well. And we accept health and medical, whatever doctors say, but we don't accept what other peers or other colleagues say. And this question is for you, Melita, that how do you see when it comes to this bringing up to the surface in the community, this kind of topic? Where we need to talk, as Rashmee said, that we should not be talking only with among groups, but putting it out in the public, in the communities. And for you to do that is easy because one, you have the medical aspect of it. And people, whether like it or not, they will have to listen to you as a medical professional or as a health professional. Not just you, but any health professionals who are there, they might tend to listen to them. But if you wanted to make those changes to bring it to the community from a medical perspective, from a health perspective, because this is very much related to the life and death that we are talking about, right? How do you see that change that you could make?
Sorry, I just wanted to correct. I'm not actually a health professional, but I am a health advocate and a coach.
Yeah.
However, look, we only know what we know, right?
Mm.
We only know what we've been
True.
told by our families, first and foremost. And if we don't know there, then we're not going to know unless we start looking or unless we happen to be in a conversation where we can see other women talking about things that we weren't brave enough to bring up ourselves.
Sure.
The Indigenous population in Australia experience menopause very differently to the way that the Westerners do. And that's mainly due to their cultural traditions. They have community practices, they are very connected to the land, and they have a support network that is different to ours as well. So maybe that's a little bit like India. I would not like to compare cultures in such a way. However, cultures do have a very strong influence on what we know and how we practice going through these changes of life together. So it is very important that we do reach out, excuse me, that we do reach out and really embrace some new knowledge. Look at the studies that have been done. There's so many things that have been explored over the last 50 years, particularly, that have shown different ways. And if we can embrace things that serve us individually from the knowledge that we can acquire through networking, through liaising with different people from different cultures, one day we're going to get it right? And maybe we won't. Maybe this will be an ever-going evolution of learning because we are lifelong learners as well.
Yeah. And it's all about also your mindsets about things. And when it comes to particularly a taboo, when there is a taboo of certain things that we think it's a taboo to not to talk or to talk, and that itself is a division in the mind that whether I should or I should not, even though your heart tells you should and your mind says no, you shouldn't. How do you deal with that, Adriana?
This is my gem.
I like the
Three
whole mind.
words.
Yes, tell
Lead
me.
by example. When
True.
you lead by example, if I make it normal and I
Mm.
speak about it like it is a normal thing,
Mm.
then maybe some people gonna have some, eyebrows looking at me or rising and looking weird at me at the
Yes.
beginning. But if I continue to speak about these things as they are normal, which they are normal, because menopause is not a disease, people.
Correct.
Menopause is the normal cycle of life and who we are as a human and as woman represents us as a woman. Then if I speak about this very openly and very freely about it, and it looks like it's a very natural thing of me doing this, and I don't fake it, I really believe in it, I really believe that this is a natural thing to speak about it without being any drop of shame, then people, they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna be uncomfortable. I'm not gonna be uncomfortable. And when I do that, then I lead by example, because then I give the opportunity to other women to listen to me. They might not say something, but I promise you, they're gonna go home and they're gonna be like, if she has the courage to speak so freely like that, what happened if I try? And that's all you need to do. We cannot change the world. I want to change the world, but I cannot change the world before I start with me. And when I change the world, but I change my world and I allow me to be freely, authentically who I am, then guess what? The other woman, they're gonna be motivated and inspired for them to try. And if I inspire one woman to try, then that woman is going to raise children differently. And then that woman is going to be inspiration for her mother or for her sister or for her friend. And the ripple effect is going to go. So lead by example.
Fantastic. Yeah, I would love that. But so that's where we are heading towards the healthy relationship. Because when you lead by example, you also create that healthy atmosphere, but also healthy relationship between anything and everyone. So when it comes to that healthy relationship and why it is so important during particularly a topic like that, where we want that relationship to be healthy, not just to talk, but to support and understand the pain or the sufferings that that particular moment that person goes through. And that needs a mindset, that needs a mental support, emotional well-being support. How do you see that we can create this healthy relationship as a woman when it comes to this kind of thing? How would you involve to create a healthy relationship? As Melita said that, yeah, there are professionals, organizations that we could go to and connect with and then make the understanding and awareness of this whole thing. But also when you're dealing with your own husbands and partners and brothers and male gender, how do you make them involved into creating this healthy relationship space? As Rashmee said that, okay, she doesn't have any problem talking to her brother or her husband. And that's where not everybody is doing, because everybody is like bogged down with this whole thing. And that's why what we are doing today is the awareness of this whole thing. Because when you talk about, awareness of suicide, that, hey, talk about it, don't suicide or don't take that drastic step before you do. But this is like a living example of menopause is something that you experience every single moment. It's not about 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. It's about every single moment when this happens, this situation comes in. And at that time, you need the most support. But that time also there are hormonal changes, which can be like opinionated by people who are dealing with. And they may say that, oh no, that's just the normal, and that's not just a normal, or I can't deal with that behavior, or I can't deal with that situation. And so that only you can deal it if you have a healthy relationship and if you accept everything and anything at that moment. But to create that healthy relationship, what is needed? How do you think is the key? As you said, you're going to lead by example, I understand. But how do you make that possibility for
Look,
a
I believe that menopause needs to be normalized. The discussion about menopause needs to be normalized. And, there is sometimes discomfort around opening up conversations about topics that people don't know a lot about, because people also, I mean, it's just, in social situations, if you don't know something about a topic, it can be a little bit scary in group conversations, because you don't participate as openly and as confidently if you don't know. So it's got to start with the baby steps and normalizing it, educating people around it, providing information around it, breaking the silence about it, the elephant in the room, perhaps.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and look, I've had conversations with my teenage boys that I wasn't sure how that would go, because they really have had nothing to do with this topic until I started experiencing it myself. And then I learned about it myself, and then had to try to explain to them so they would have some empathy for me, and sometimes some sympathy for me. It's always helpful. And I tell you what, they took it so well. You will be pleasantly surprised when you can openly discuss something, and it doesn't have to be so deep and meaningful. You can start by just mentioning it. It can be a little lighthearted sometimes, a little bit of a joke now and then, without being offensive. And people start to relax a little bit more, and they're more open to talking about this topic, which was once very taboo in many households.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. What do you think, Adriana?
When you speak to your partner or someone, your children, the people around you, I really love like what Melita mentioned, the fact that you can start it in a calm, in a nice way, even with like say to your children, mommy start having some hot flashes, and and your children, if they young, they may like, what is that, mom? And then you explain them, and then you make them curious about that, and then you show your children that you are a human. I know women are powerful, I know women are independent and strong, but if we're not teaching and allow our children to experience with us our own experience, then we're going to raise children with a lot of problems, because they think that mom is invincible, but mom is sometimes moments when she's struggling, when she's down, when she's emotionally and mentally down, and it's okay to have that. Because we are humans, we are allowed to experience all these emotions, are part of who we are, and it's important to learn that anger and frustrations are exactly the same thing, like happiness and joy and what other emotions we feel. They're all part of life, the same like menopause. All of them are normal, as long as we make them normal for us, with us, and then for us, and share it with the people around us. As an example, if I going through with my partner, I come home and I have moments when I'm like, I have the hot flashes, or like I can't stand, don't touch me. I'm not gonna say here, don't touch me. I'm gonna say from the beginning. As soon as I enter on the door, I'm like, honey, today is one of the days where I cannot have been touched or been around you, because I can't even stand myself. And I make it in a fun way. It's like, but I promise you, tomorrow we'll catch up the hugging, or what, like in a fun way. Or with your partner, partner or spouse or children, you can literally go to their level, like speak from their level, with their language. If they don't know much about this, then like say little things, small things, explain them for them to understand, relate them with something that they are aware of, or bring something that they have knowledge with, and always be honest. When you speak from your heart, and when you say to your partner, look, me and my partner, we have this thing, and we say, I only have 20% today. Can you bring the rest of the 80? Because I only have 20% energy today. Emotionally, mentally, I'm drawn. My hormones are all over the place. I don't even know how I'm going to react. And I apologize in advance if I'm snapping at you. And it's not personally. So I prepare him so he knows. So I truly believe that everything is about communication. When you communicate with your partner, then things is gonna go so much smoothly, and they don't have to react to your reactions.
I want to add a little bit here when it comes to Rashmi to answer this. It's like, we in like in India or the belief, as Adriana mentioned, that don't touch me or don't look at me or don't, come near me. There could be certain moments when these things happen. And it's very normal, as Melita said. Let's make it normal. Let's not make it as a big issue about it, right? And that's where needs that courage and the mindset. So but when it comes to taboo, like we always say that, oh, is this a sickness or is this a disease or is this something that comes to the mind, why I should not be touching you, why I should not come to you, what is wrong, what is it? Then those belief system then kicks in, and then we say that, oh, you are rejecting me or you are not accepting me and things like that. Those, there are repercussions of it. That's why on particular I want to ask this to Rashmi. You have noticed in our culture, in the Indian way of living, but then that's why it becomes a taboo, and it's not been like removing the taboo is a big challenge. It becomes, particularly when you have these kind of reservations and beliefs that, hey, no, this is a curse or this is a punishment or this is something that you should not be coming to me and near me and all of that, or why you are rejecting or what's happened to you and all of that. It becomes a very tough challenge and decision making at that point to deal with your own people, basically. And when you do that or when you make that, how do you see this to break the taboo? There is a lot of things needs to be done. One thing is the mindset. The
Yes.
other thing is the cultural beliefs, and all that things to break that needs courage, needs go against the norms. As Melita says, let's normalize. But when the belief system goes against the norms, basically, because you are restricting yourself into that system, right? And that needs courage. So, what would you do differently in the current world that we are living in when you have accepted everything, embracing everything unknown? Why don't we embrace these, right?
Mhm.
What's your take on it?
I feel men are not ready for this.
Correct.
When woman is speaking, when she's telling you that I'm not feeling, me today,
Mm,
he's not first of all listening from the way he should.
mm,
The presence should be there.
right.
Uh, she need to feel safe to discuss these things with you.
Mm,
So the relationship, it depends upon relationship to relationship, what kind of relationship you have with your man. And are you, so it took me also a lot of time to come to this place. I'm in 17 years, I'm married.
mm,
Now, last few years, I am really open about all these things. So
mm,
I decided I'm not going to, stop, because in my family, in my mom's side, I really had an open space. So my dad was very open being. So I used to discuss everything with him from my menstrual cycles and in that time. But not everyone is, got the safe space. I understand that. And because of that, I can discuss these things. But my husband took time to, understand that what I'm trying to tell. And what maybe they are thinking, is this really important?
mm. Yeah.
I know you are suffering, but is this real? And it is going to come every month,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Every month you are going to go through this emotional turbulence. But I
One-
feel, this is the part. Every menstrual, because I'm in a pre-menopause phase, I'm
mm,
healing my body. It's opportunity for woman to heal her all trauma, like
mm,
hurts, guilt, resentment, shame, if you look within first.
mm.
And when I started healing myself, my husband understood that something is shifting
Yeah.
drastically, because he started being present with me.
Mm.
This is how relationships are shifting, but it needs a lot of work
Definitely.
at
I want-
personal level,
Mm.
And when it comes to, so why I can speak with my brother easily? Because I'm connected to him deeply. So this is a spiritual connection I'm talking about. So when you have deeper spiritual connection with few beings, you know where to speak. And I feel we speak only with them.
Mm.
Things, these are deeper things.
Mm.
We go and speak with them, and without speaking, they understand these things sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that's a very powerful thing to understand, and we can't make everybody people understand.
Right.
But the norms, when it comes to the norms, like people look for your birthdays, everybody's birthday they look upon, and every
Mm.
year they come and they want expecting to look for that day. But you know, as you rightly said, that this is a cycle, every month comes. So it's an every month thing. It's not a yearly thing. It comes every month. So obviously, how do we make those men or the humans around you accept that they should look forward to that to get support or to give support, not just your birthday, just a humorous way I'm trying to put it here.
I feel this is a consistent work. So
Exactly.
consistently we are going to, I'm telling, I have two boys too,
Mm,
that mom is not feeling good, those days. Consistently, it's been almost 2 years I'm telling them.
mm,
So I'm also reprogramming their beliefs here.
mm.
It's not my beliefs, it's my beliefs have already shifted, but they need to accept these changes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm special, those who are raising boys, especially women, should speak with boys these things. Stop, you know, this is my feeling. Who all my clients, I discuss these topics and just speak with your husband, your boys, because we're raising a next generation and they need to feel comfortable with these things.
Yeah, yeah. I
This
think,
is how I can feel we really can create an impact
yeah.
for the next generation, because they will be more accepting and normalizing everything. As Adriana is saying, it's we need to normalize these things and it should be very easy.
I think special treatments, which we get on birthdays, we should also get special treatment on such days, to be honest. This is what my thing. But in terms of so one thing, yeah, Rashmi, you mentioned about creating that positive environment around in the house, in the home. Melita, how do you see that positive environment once it is done from your own kind of personal way that you create a personal environment positive? Then that needs to be translated into the public and community environment where, as you said, it is normalized, should be talked as a normal. So what you do in at home as a normal should be now translated into the communities as a normal. And to do that, it takes a lot of things because, as Rashmi said, it starts from home. So when we start from home, then only it can go through one or the other. But acceptance is a big thing because I think the taboo awareness is happened because of they feel there is something wrong with that human at that point, that it's happening to that person. So they don't accept it as easily as one would. Other things they accept, but they don't accept. So, like, for example, a birth of a child happens through a woman and they accept beautifully and they enjoy. And even when there is a sorrow or anything wrong happens at that time, they still sympathize, empathize, but they have that empathy. If a woman cannot deliver a child or delivers unborn child, they have empathy and sympathy. And if the child is born, they have full joy, right? So there is a reaction, there is an action, and there is a good kind of a healthy kind of atmosphere, irrespective of whether wrong or right. But in this moment, there is no healthy reaction at this point. That's why it becomes a taboo. So to make a healthy kind of a resonation, certain things, as you rightly said, is awareness and access to a lot of organizations and associations and all that stuff. But how would you make those environmental positive in the community?
Well, symptoms that we can't see can
Yes.
be quite scary because
Correct.
it's the unknown. And if we don't know
Yes.
anything about what we don't see, it's like walking into the abyss. We don't know what we're going to find. We don't know how it's going to affect us. We don't know how it's going to affect our loved ones. And we don't know what the consequences of these could be. And that could be very scary. And it's easier to avoid going into the abyss in the first place. Look, I really believe that mental health has grown, like the awareness around mental health has grown enormously in the last, say, even 10 years, 20 years.
Right.
It went from a very taboo topic to now people are very openly posting all over the place about mental health, and very openly. And now it's widely accepted in a lot of communities, not all communities, but a lot of communities. And this is where we would like to see the taboo around menopause open up and become normalized and become something that people can just vent about if that's what they need to do. Discuss with people, have open conversations with health practitioners. That's very important. I know some women, and maybe this might relate a little bit to, we hear about men not wanting to go to the doctor. But maybe this is one topic that a lot of women don't want to go and talk about with their doctors, in fear of judgment, and carrying shame and guilt around that, or the stigmatism of aging. Because women find a lot of value in how they contribute to society. And a lot of that is to do with reproduction, being aesthetically pleasing, and so forth. So when women go through this and they find that, they are aging, they sometimes feel invisible at this age. And that's a very sad fact. Women in this age are often found at high risk of homelessness as well. Job prospects, was maybe they've been, in the home for the first part of their lives, and then after that they feel a bit like they're floundering in life. So it's a matter of really supporting these women, and like the other ladies have said, that communication is key. And connecting and networking is key. And I think that that's a common denominator here, that we really do need to bring people together and make those connections. And as far as educating people in the home, from my experience with my children, I know that they go out there feeling that it's very normal now. And, they're at that age where they are, getting interested in girls a little bit now. But they're very sensible about it, and they're very respectful about that. And they will ask me, Mum, do you need Panadol? do you need a heat pack? They're very thoughtful and very kind. And I hope that I am raising kind young men, so that one day they become good fathers or good husbands, and so forth. And I think that's where we do need to start at home, to make sure that it's going to go out there in the wider community.
So do you think this, just like mental health awareness is there, breast cancer awareness is there, and there's a week, every week to week, they are putting that community, societal pressure to understand or to spread awareness. Do you think this menopause should also be having a awareness week every week or every month, awareness that to be celebrated?
Well, I think it needs to be connected to a lot of things, because women experience a lot of symptoms during menopause that are related to mental health. The loss of estrogen in the body contributes to osteoporosis. It can also contribute to breast cancer. So there are links there with menopause as well. So I really believe this being such a big deal, menopause being such a big deal, and it permeates through so many different areas of life, that we can make these connections a lot stronger and a lot more well-known, and educate women in that area as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what do you think, Adriana, that, when it comes to from a mental health or emotional well-being point of view, because this is directly related to emotional well-being, just like every other thing, but this is such an impactful when it comes to menopause. The emotional well-being takes over everything, basically, because your relationship can be disturbed. So relationship becomes an emotional well-being issue, to start with. and already you are dealing with personal relationship, that becomes an emotional issue. As a spiritual point of view, soul, that you think what would should really be as an individual, because as Rashmi said, it starts home. So as an individual, it starts within you. How would
Yes.
you how would you express this when it comes to mental health, emotional well-being, and relationships also could be affecting into this?
Is knowing yourself,
Mm,
because how can you communicate to someone else what you're going through if you don't know
mm,
what you're going through? For
mm,
that, you need to sit with your emotion. You need to know how to identify your emotion individual. So then when you have a certain symptom, that
mm,
can be a physical symptom. So that means you need to be connected with your body, or you have a mental or emotional symptom. You need to know to distinguish, is that sadness because of my hormones, or that sadness because I'm
yes.
struggling with some things in my past? So
Mm,
it comes back to both of these beautiful ladies here. They mention about the understanding yourself, talking with yourself, knowing yourself, so then also
yeah.
able to communicate those in to the people around you. And when you take the moment to sit with yourself and be curious about yourself, then you'll be able to understand what's happening with your body.
Mm,
85% of the woman
mm,
have symptoms, menopause symptoms, and guess what? Only 10% of them, they get treatment
mm,
and they'll get therapy, whatever that is. Mental therapy, or is holistic therapy, or
mm,
medical therapy, whatever that is, only 10%.
mm,
Most of the women, they misdiagnostic with any other things that Melita, she was mentioning. There's so many other things that are underneath, like under the umbrella, but
mm,
underneath is actually because of the lack of estrogen. Estrogen is found everywhere in our bodies, and
mm,
estrogen can go from your skin is changing, your muscles deteriorating, your bones deteriorating, your moods, your everything is affecting everything in your body. Estrogen is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory into your body. And
mm,
when you start knowing all these things and you're seeing that you're getting sick more, your skin is changing, your moods are different. You cannot even control your emotion. You're raging of your children on your children. You literally emotional, I call it emotional vomiting on your children. Then maybe take a moment. I always say to my clients, when you feel like you're about to burst, take a moment, use the breath. Use your breath, because that's all you have. And go to the bathroom, excuse yourself, go to the bathroom and sit with yourself. Look at the person in the mirror and say, what do you need today? What's happening? Let's talk. I usually am not this. And if I'm not this, then something is underneath me that's trying to come up. I need to understand what is that emotional reaction is coming from. Is that something I'm not been dealing with for so long? Or is
mm,
actually physically I can control myself?
mm,
So that maybe I need to maybe go to a care provider and talk with it, do some blood work, do some hormonal
mm,
work and see what's happening. Investigate, be
mm,
curious about yourself. And
mm,
when you start doing all these things, then you can start speaking with your girlfriends. You meet for coffee with your girlfriends, and maybe they are the same age with you, and then you speak about
mm,
openly about this. Look, I was almost want to kill my husband and I didn't even know why.
mm,
And then I went to the doctor and my hormones are like, because I'm in premenopause, or I'm actually hit menopause and I wasn't aware because I
mm,
never been educated.
mm,
Interesting. Now I know. So now next time when I have the same feelings, I already I already have it in my brain, in my mind, that wait a minute. And it's gonna stop you. That knowledge, that awareness of what's happening with you is
mm.
gonna stop you of, having the same reaction over and over and over, which
Yeah.
of course is deal with your relationship and with your well-being and your family well-being as well. So awareness, being curious about yourself, reflect over yourself, go investigate what's happening with yourself, and then ask for help.
Mm,
Huge thing. As women, we find that asking for help, and the woman here beside me, please help me with this. How many
mm,
of us would struggle to say, I need help? I
mm,
don't know what's happening with me. I need help. I think that's the biggest taboo. before menopause, before anything else. Ask for help. And
Yeah.
when we learn to ask for help and be normal and okay to ask for help, then we can resolve a lot of other problems.
And that comes with the great gratitude of acceptance of just the way who we are and just the way what's happening to us. I guess it's a great deal to accept ourselves because we are always in denial mode, or we are trying to show something else to the world that we are not suffering or we are not having any problem. And that's where the mental health has been a big issue in the last few years, and particularly after COVID. There is an awareness of mental health that please speak up. They keep saying that, please connect. If you are having anything little disturbance of no unnormal with you, then talk about it. But this menopause topic, this is today that we have done today is amazing. Thank you so much for this. And I personally feel now that, we have at least started the ball rolling in terms of like getting involved to have a topic like that, because we need to be solving these issues, not continuing with the tradition status quo of what we have been, indebted and suffering continues. We are here to minimize the sufferings and raise the issues, right? So in that terms, now we almost coming to an end. Beautiful souls, I wanted to ask you this final, that all listeners are listening and they are all men and women as well. And particularly the message, even though it relates to women, it still involves men, because we just can't ignore them. We just can't isolate them, right? All the listeners who are listening currently, I wanted to take one-on-one with you all. What would be your message when it comes to this, such a topic like that? But also, breaking those taboos of various things that we have, and we heard from you all, like going or approaching, starting from home, going and approaching the help and seeking help, and medically and spiritually, and simply things, societal, community, and environmental relationships that can be improved through this channel. All that, when it comes to that, what would be then your final message to the audiences who are listening, whether they are men or they are women? How would you put them on this journey and bringing this awareness of this beautiful topic that we are doing today? How would you make an awareness? Who is going to go first?
I can go.
Okay.
So I feel everyone learn to understand themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, whether he man or woman,
Mm-hmm.
be curious and go within and understand what is happening and don't get attached to it a lot, because everything, the emotions, the mental stories is your past. Either it is your past or you're thinking a lot about your future. But this is not a moment, because in this moment, how can you get disconnected from that emotional state? So I always ask my clients also, and personally I do follow this practice, asking when these things happening, asking myself a question: what problem I have right now in this moment? Is it going to kill me? No, right? We don't have that kind of problems in the specific moment. So you can really shift and choose in that
Yeah.
moment what I want next. Because when you go into the emotions and mental stories, it's not going to go away. Is
True.
it detaching from those is the part. So going within and just looking every day. It is a lifestyle shift.
Yeah.
Find some time and just do this. That's it.
I would a little bit modify, if I am allowed to, Rashmi, that when you
Mm-hmm.
say problem, I say that there is no such thing called problem. It is just the absence of an idea to find the solution. So it is a challenge rather than problem. And we face challenges on every single moment. And those challenges, definitely what you said is right. But consider that as a challenge because it's a temporary thing. It's not a big problem to consider as a problem, but it's a challenge that you have to overcome it. So that's my 2 cents on it, whether you agree. Let's go to Melita. What do you say?
Oh, look, I'm actually really excited to be part of this discussion today. And I really thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this with these beautiful ladies
Yeah.
and to get different perspectives around it. And actually to have a male host on this topic is pretty special, I think. So,
Thank you.
yeah, and I really just want to say, be bold, people. Be brave. It does take some courage to step
True.
outside our comfort zones.
Mm.
And we may not be perfect the first time that we try to communicate these things, but practice. You know, practice with the people that you love and people that you're safe with, and then practice with your networking group, with your fellow lady friends, and practice speaking with your husbands about this. And remember that, you know, judgment is just in our minds,
Yes.
really. And does it really matter that somebody thinks that you're talking about something that every woman's been through? I mean, realistically, if you break it down and try to not catastrophize it, like Rashmee was saying, that, you know, we don't know until we have a go,
True.
right?
Mm.
So bless you all, and I really am excited to see where this conversation might lead us later.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you, Melita. So final say, the last laugh. Adriana can do the last laugh.
Yes. First, taboo is a taboo until you decide not to be a taboo anymore. It's all a decision.
Very
Even think of the word decide is mean to cut off. I decide not to be a taboo. And you might fall off with this decision and come back on and on and off, but you can decide every single day. And it's a decision that you can make internally with yourself not to make this a taboo. Second, menopause is not a disease. Menopause is a normal cycle of humans, and
True.
especially women. And third, woman, enjoy the menopause. I know it will sound, and I will get some bad comments on this, but I have shoulders to take it. You know what menopause is? It's showing you that you made it. You made amazing life. The fact that you got to the point to menopause. We are the one of the 3 species in whole this beautiful earth that we have menopause. Humans, women have menopause, whales have menopause, and then now they discover giraffes. So how special you are, the fact that you get to the point to have and experience menopause. I know it's not pleasant all the time, but guess one thing, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, he chose us and he chose you as a woman to be able to have this and go through this experience. Because let's be honest, if men had to go through this, will be a world disaster. But the fact that we've been chosen to experience this, I take it as an honor. And the fact that I'm able to experience, that means I lived long enough to experience. When you change the way you see things, everything changes.
Wonderful. What a beautiful last comment, Adriana. I think we all did very well. Beautiful souls to express our suggestions, opinions, and resonations, and coming from different cultures, different background, different countries. I think it is amazing to put this together on this level that we can talk, we can interact, we can, spread the awareness, basically. So I thank you all, beautiful souls, for this. And for all my listeners, whether they are men and women, as Adriana said very rightly, this is an honor. So consider this as an honor that you have been chosen. I think what on earth and universe can give you other than this honor, right? To create this beautiful. So when we accept birth, accept this situation as well, because that's what is all connected, and that's what all the universe wants us to create and to help. So beautiful souls, I want to take this opportunity to thank you all with the bottom of my heart to do this topic. And I think this is definitely, as Melita said, it is going to go far off, not just here end. because I think we have just started the ball rolling to spread the awareness of this beautiful topic and remove the taboos. And this is not just one of the taboos. There are so many taboos in this community, in society that we live in, because humans come with a lot of things that are wanted and unwanted. But as you rightly said, Adriana, we can choose what we want and how we want. And that leaves us with every single person's discretion how to deal with your situation. But as we heard from all of you, that there is a lot of help, there is a lot of areas and avenues that we all can connect, that we all can, try to help ourselves before we try to support others. And when you support yourself, you can support everyone. So I have done my bit by doing this beautiful conversation with you guys as a male. And I think every male, my only humble request would be to please have a due diligence and have a research of your own before you listen to others, before you make a comment based on others' opinion about this topic. Have your own research, have your own, resonation, and how you can make a difference to these amazing biases and the taboo that can be minimized, that can be removed, actually. As Melita said very nicely, that normalize, make everything normalized, because we humans have to make everything normalized. So that's what I would say. It's a normal thing. It's not a disease. It's not a thing. And as again, I want to reiterate that it starts from home, as Rashmee said also. So thank you so much for all your beautiful, beautiful messages and comments that you made. And I think that I hope all listeners will understand the importance of this topic and will make a difference in their own way. Thank you once again for all of you. Beautiful.